We have to trust one another and look after one another.
And 3 of
When the
them
glory
got
comes,
suspended.
it will be out. It will be out.
When Jeremy Corbyn became leader of the
of
Labour
those
Party in
councillors
2015, it gave new hope to the left
Just
here
knew this
and
would
across the world.
I think people have had enough of the politics of celebrity, the politics of personality, the politics of abuse.
The Labour Party offered hope to millions, and 500,000 people joined, became Labour members. Biggest party in Europe on the left, and a really exciting time.
All over the country, we're getting these huge gatherings of people. They're young, they're old, they're black, they're white, all ages, many outlooks, many people who've never been involved in politics before.
But for the establishment, the sudden rise of Corbyn was terrifying.
For the establishment, the election of Jeremy Corbyn was a threat.
Our job was to try and make the world a better place during our life, that our children's generation would have a better standard of living and more opportunities than we had.
Corbyn was anti-capitalist, anti-war, anti-nuclear weapons, a socialist even.
Is there any moral basis whatsoever for holding and therefore being prepared to use a weapon of ultimate mass destruction?
For some, just the idea of somebody like him in number 10 was a declaration of war.
General Sir Nicholas Horton says he'd be concerned that Jeremy Corbyn wouldn't be prepared to press the nuclear button if he were Prime Minister.
When you heard a general, a serving general, when Jeremy was first elected, going on the record saying that they will not tolerate a Corbyn-led Labour government cutting defence spending, scrapping Trident or withdrawing from NATO. And he went on to say, and we'll use fair means or foul to stop that.
The Tory press threw its all at Jeremy Corbyn. They tried smear after smear, but in the end, only one stuck.
There is a big lie everywhere, and one of the big lies of our time is the lie of Labour Party being infested with anti-Semitism.
They redefine anti-Semitism. They redefine it so that if you are critical of Israel, that is by itself anti-Semitic.
The anti-Semitism smear hurt Corbyn, but it didn't take him down.
Why have we got tens of thousands of new people joining the Labour Party with an average age of 30?
But soon, others in the party were accused. Key figures, high-value targets.
He never went into the studio to talk about Hitler. Vanessa Feltz asked him about Hitler, and he cited the Havara Agreement, which was an agreement between the Nazi regime and the German Zionists with a view to relocating German Jews into Palestine. That's a matter of historical fact. And for that, he was accused of being a Nazi apologist by that thug, John Mann.
You're Nazi apologists. You're Nazi apologists. Rewriting history. Rewriting history.
Who should have been suspended. Action should have been taken against him. Indeed, I think police action, frankly. It was an appalling assault that he engaged in. He didn't lay a hand on on Ken, but he wasn't far short of doing so. Very, very aggressive, hectoring assault that he waged against Ken, and no action taken against him.
When I saw what was said against Ken, it made me almost sick, because this was probably the best representative, anti-racist representative our party has ever produced, certainly in my lifetime. And to be portrayed in that way was an absolute scandal.
But why attack these guys? Why didn't the left come out in a big way for them? And who was behind it all?
Nobody who has followed it reasonably closely, nobody can fail to see that this was a concerted, orchestrated campaign.
Was it really an orchestrated campaign? And if it was, who was in the orchestra? Israel lobby groups were prime candidates, of course, but a documentary produced by Al Jazeera said even Israel itself was in on the act.
One of Israel's main targets is the Labour Party. For the first time, its leader is a champion of Palestinian civil rights.
They'd be very happy to see Jeremy Corbyn no longer leader of the Labour Party, for sure.
It's a covert action that penetrates the heart of Britain's democracy.
Can you give us some evidence that suggests you'll take down?
It is outrageous interference in British politics. It shouldn't be permitted.
I saw Jackie Walker on Saturday and thought, you know what, I can take her. She's like 5'2" and tiny.
Most Labour MPs didn't need lobbying by anyone to have a crack at Corbyn. Leading the attack was his loyal Deputy Leader, Tom Watson.
I promise to back our new leader 100%. I plan to do exactly that. And I ask you to do the same.
I want to thank our Labour Party staff, who worked really hard.
But if the MPs attacked Corbyn publicly, there were others working away behind the scenes. A leaked report showed that many of Labour's paid officials were doing all they could to secretly sabotage their own party's electoral efforts.
In 2017, the bureaucracy of the Labour Party itself was infested with these depraved people who acted against the party.
The emails that were linked demonstrated that people right at the top of the Labour Party and the senior officials in headquarters were actively working against Labour.
Perhaps, if not for this sabotage domestically inside the headquarters of the Labour Party, it could have even won the elections outright.
We're totally fucked. The party is about to be taken over by complete nutjobs.
Yeah, all the people commenting on Twitter, Facebook and elsewhere are completely fucking mental. We're so fucking screwed.
Momentum are fucking mentalists.
Half of our current membership have serious mental health problems. That's the frightening thing.
It is ludicrous. I hope the fucking thing is short. Can't be asked with small talk.
I'm not drinking it. I'm not clapping. I'm going to stay at my desk or leave the office.
Look at that fucker, looking statesperson-like, looking after our security.
I mean, Jerry's speech was a total crock of shit. I clapped, but I probably didn't do a very good job of masking what I thought.
I clapped, but I didn't smile. It takes a conscious effort for me not to smile in these situations.
I couldn't look at him. My eyes rolled a lot. I probably shook my head.
I feel like he should have maybe addressed the massive elephant in the room, that we all kind of hate him.
Dawn Butler?
Yep, PLP women will go spare.
Good grief.
Did she not accuse the LP and its staff of being racist this week? Nice.
Harriet White Privilege Harmon?
Diane Abbott literally makes me sick.
Abbott found crying in the loos.
Should we tell Michael Crick?
Already have.
As I say, Steve Howell and I used to go to meetings with some of the senior officials, and we agreed, the meeting would come to a conclusion, it's agreed, and we would laugh afterwards saying we have no idea whether what we've just agreed is going to be done or not. You know, because all the apparatus was in the hands of these officials.
Ultimately, though, who votes for JC? I mean, if it's a choice between him and Theresa May, how do we vote for him? I mean, we're not fucking mad.
You had no real grip on the machinery for delivering on the decision.
We need to stop digital campaign budgets going to Ben Soffer for approval.
He can't see what we're doing with digital spend.
There is a secret key seats team arriving in Ergon House permanently.
Ooh, interesting on the key seats team. Who will be part of it?
Turned out Hennigan and McNichol were channeling, it's about £140,000–150,000, something like that, to a secret operation run off-site outside the Labour Party headquarters to support those MPs who they continued to regard as being at risk. They were on the right of the party.
Lots of secret meetings going on here. I think it's all secret to Lotto. I'll let you know, but think it's a brand new team moving in on Sunday.
Brill. I endorse this plan and will keep said plan very much to myself.
But the point is, they had absolutely no right to do that.
And to all of our supporters and affiliates, I say this: whether you voted for me or not, I will represent you, I will listen to you, and I will bring our party together.
My immediate reaction was disbelief. It was just off the wall that the person who had been leading the party, who in 2017 had produced one of the best results Labour had ever had, should be suspended from the party. The grounds given for his suspension led me not just to disbelief, but also to outrage, because he was alleged to have said that the problem of anti-Semitism had been exaggerated. Well, I'll tell you for nothing, the problem of anti-Semitism had been exaggerated.
Starmer's suspension of Jeremy was obviously a landmark in his leadership. It was unjust and unnecessary. The thing he was criticised for, which was basically saying in his statement that was otherwise quite contrite when the EHRC report was published, which was that the extent of Labour anti-Semitism had been exaggerated for, you know, political purposes. That is specifically identified in the EHRC report as the sort of thing that can be said without being any suggestion that it's anti-Semitic. So the original suspension was unjust and unnecessary, absolutely. Now, I played a small part indirectly in trying to work to get that reversed, and we thought we had. A statement was drawn up, agreed, as we believe, with Starmer's office, where if Jeremy issued that, he would have his party membership back, and he did issue it, and a panel of the NEC did agree to give him his party membership back. No one had raised the question of you not getting the whip back at all then. This is another example of Starmer's dishonesty. I really believe he is as dishonest as Boris Johnson is, albeit in a less flamboyant fashion. And he suddenly raises the question of the whip, allegedly under pressure from Margaret Hodge and others, but I don't know the truth of that. But anyway, he did it and pretended he'd never agreed to the deal that had in fact been made.
Corbyn's suspension triggered the purge of hundreds of party members. It was open season on anyone who dared to show support either for Corbyn or for the Palestinian cause.
Well, that's right. Solidarity with the suspended and with Jeremy.
We're insisting that the withdrawal of the whip from a long-standing elected Labour Party Member of Parliament is absolutely unforgivable and anti-democratic. And we're also standing up for all those members who are now in waves being suspended for resisting the anti-democratic, increasingly authoritarian tendencies of the leadership.
You cannot have paid officials of the party telling party members what they can debate.
And has the left done enough? Well, no, it hasn't. I think he had the right to expect a greater degree of solidarity and support.
Ironically, many victims of Starmer's anti-Semitic purge were themselves Jewish, but this was no accident.
There is a strong section of Jewish opinion on the left in the Labour Party which does not support the State of Israel, which stands foursquare behind Palestinian rights and is opposed to the way in which anti-Semitism has been de facto used to undermine criticism of Israel and to undermine the struggle for Palestinian rights.
In 2017, the supporters of Jeremy Corbyn came close to putting him in number 10. In 2019, Labour lost by a wide margin. What happened? What made the difference? Lots of things contributed, but the media was way, way up there. But with just months to go before the 2019 election, it was a TV programme that maybe hit Corbyn's Labour Party the hardest.
Many British Jews once saw the Labour Party as their natural political home. No longer.
Being a bystander who turns their head the other way is not an option. The time for action is now.
They say they're being pushed out of Labour by a left-wing version of the world's oldest form of racism.
The Labour leadership's only answer to the media attacks seemed to be to say sorry. It didn't work, and some of Jeremy's closest supporters felt let down.
We kept thinking, Jeremy and John McDonnell, they will see that they really need to stand up to this now. They will understand that these criticisms are not made in good faith.
Even the so-called socialist campaign group in the Parliamentary Labour Party offered me no public solidarity, nothing, not a word.
The Labour Party expelled me because I support those who'd been purged, wrongly purged, many good friends and comrades. They were purged as part of Starmer's determination to remove the left. You see, and every now and then, to show that we're a democracy, there's a change of government. The party changes, but it's so important from the establishment's point of view that the alternative party won't change anything, and that's what Starmer is proving now to those with power.
I will go to work. Thank you, conference.
Starmer looks determined to lead the Labour Party back to the days of Tony Blair. Soon, the right and the establishment hope it will be a return to business as usual. But will it?
I want to pay tribute to Jeremy Corbyn, who led our party through some really difficult times, who energised our movement, and who's a friend as well as a colleague.